And there we go.
You need
Hey,
to get your
everybody.
podcast back up.
Hey, everybody. It's May 12th, 2021, 12 noon Eastern time, and you are at the Recruiting Animal Show. Okay, it sounds like the old days. Okay, so the guest today is a guy named Josh Thomas. We knew him by a different name before. There, he's pointing at you. We got Mario R. That's you, right? Mario R.
Yep,
Okay,
obviously.
all the way from India, and thesalesrecruiter.com. Michael G. Cox down there in the corner. Okay, in fact, we're all in the corners. Okay, Josh, do you want to introduce yourself or should I introduce you?
Either way, go for it.
You do it. You do it. You do it.
Oh man, he's gonna yell at you now.
I know. I'm an on-site recruiter. I'm working through an agency that's awesome, and I am at Audit Board. Audit Board does they provide 4 core products and a platform for 60% of the Fortune 500. 6 out of 10 use us.
You know what? We don't want to hear about the company. It's better for you if we don't know. What kind of people are you working with? What kind of candidates?
Yeah, I mostly look for mostly all engineering talent, all JavaScript, some DevOps, senior product designers, stuff like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that's
I've been
something you've
recruiting
had.
for 15. Been recruiting for almost 20 years now. I'm an old guy.
But how much experience do you have with that kind of candidate?
With the engineering, I've usually been a little more DevOps and infrastructure, but yeah, I mean, on and off. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, so I'm always doing engineering.
Okay, everybody. Okay, he's had his chance. Did you go into recruit? I've got some standard questions. This is the only show that surveys. We ask people the same questions every week. Did you go into recruiting because you like to help people?
I mean, that's one of the reasons, but
I don't believe you.
It's for the money. I knew he'd say that. Yeah, it's for the money.
For the money. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you just needed something to do and you didn't have any skills from your education? Is that true?
Yeah, pretty much. I know I could type. I'm a fast typer.
I couldn't even.
Hey Josh,
type.
how long have you been in
It's a
recruiting?
core skill for recruiting. Yeah.
15 years, he said.
Okay.
Plus.
Wake up, Michael G. Cox.
Hey, whatever. So, did you know that recruiting was a thing when you started in it?
My friend talked me into it. Not really, no.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Yeah, it was pretty new to me. I was confused. I was like, what? Yeah.
How much are they paying?
Young and confused. Okay.
24,000 a year. Sign me up.
Was literally about 24,000 a year, about 600. I think it was $300 a placement, and if I double ended, it was $600. So for a unit.
Let me move on. Okay, don't derail the show. Okay.
Yeah, big money.
Okay. The next question. Okay, this is what some people say is the hardest part of recruiting: rejecting candidates. Okay, some recruiters, I think mostly women, sorry everybody, they say they cry after doing it. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What about you? Would you call that the worst part of recruiting, Josh?
No.
It's pretty high on the list.
The answer is no.
I mean, the answer is no. Yeah, no.
Hold on a second. He's saying yes. On a scale of 1 to 10, how painful is it?
I mean, it's you rip the Band-Aid off. It's part of the job.
How painful is it for you on a scale of 1 to 10?
If I like the person and they should have got the job, it's a 9. If I think they didn't qualify anyway, it's 5.
Oh, really? But the thing is, if you think they should have got the job and they're very good, then they probably know they're good too. They'll get a job somewhere. I mean, I would see that as the least painful. It's when I personally think the person is not a good candidate, is a goof, that's when you feel bad. Okay, Michael G. Cox has a contrary view. Go ahead.
No, it's not hard. It shouldn't be hard. It's not difficult at all to do that. It makes no sense.
Go ahead. Explain. Why do some people cry then? Mario, we'll get to you. Why are people
because they're
crying?
doing it? Because maybe because they're doing it wrong. Imagine if all you did was stick to the points. Like, hey, the position has these requirements, and that's all you base your decision on is these requirements, keeping in mind that there is a lot of competition for these roles. So during the interview process, which is now over, you failed to demonstrate a level of expertise in XYZ that would have ranked you above everybody else. Now,
Okay.
in that moment, I gave him very clear, very specific feedback. Yeah, I know you don't like it because it makes
I feel like you
a whole
enjoy it.
load of sense, but hey, it works. It works perfectly because I tell them exactly why, and I don't get, nobody's suing people for telling them the truth.
Yeah, you're wrong. Hold on, Mario, don't worry. But Gurgly, who was on the show before, okay, this is what he said this week. He said Gurgay, remember him, the engineering manager from Uber who writes books now?
Yeah,
Here's what
the
he
guy
said.
that spent how many years in recruiting?
Here's what he said. He said an
Okay.
engineer interviewed at a tech company in the EU, in Europe. He got rejected in the phone screen. He asked for feedback. The recruiter sent a detailed list. Now he's asking me, the advisor, how he
Sent
can-
a detailed list of why he wasn't selected instead of speaking to him? Weak.
Hold
That's
on.
why it's so hard. You didn't do it right.
Don't derail me, okay? Now this candidate, this failed candidate, is asking Gergely how he can challenge the unfair feedback, and Gergely's response is
During the interview process, which is now over. See, you already closed that door. It's over.
okay. But Gergely says this is why most companies don't give interview feedback. Okay,
Because they
and I
do it
think
poorly.
Okay, Mario R, you go.
Okay, there is a scenario that I experienced a few months back, I think in February, where I had two candidates interview. Both were literally close neck to neck. Both candidates were actually, one was a really awesome guy, very sociable, very nice, very, he kept in touch, was very, an ideal candidate. Another guy also was pretty good, not the ideal per se, and in a people sort of way, But what happened is both these guys were neck to neck for a position, and the guy who was not ideal ultimately got chosen because he's available in 2 weeks. In this scenario, you kind of feel bad for the guy when you call him, to the office, say, dude, you missed out on it. We'll try and get you another position. So
Okay,
that
but
time
there's,
kind of feels
hold
bad.
on, look, that's not a good one as well. Here's why. You got great candidates, okay? You don't have to say anything insulting to them. And this guy, there was an obvious, painless reason why you're not telling him he's no good. He just couldn't do it in time. That's painless, okay? You guys,
Yeah.
okay.
See, actually, Michael, one question. It should not be a problem to reject guys. They should be open to it. They're putting themselves out there. They should be welcoming.
Yeah, but-
Hold on a second. They're excited. You want them to be eager and hungry to get this job. Yeah, it's the next step in my great future. How do all these recruiting firms advertise? Hey, we're your career path. Look at us. We're going to take you to heaven. And then you say, screw you. Honk, honk. You're out. Is that? Yeah, I can take it. It's nothing. Okay. No, that's not how it is. Josh, are you with me? Josh,
Yeah,
are you
you
with
throw
me?
them in. I mean, it's one of those things. I always throw in there like, oh, but how's your search going? And they're like, well, yeah, I got some companies going on. You make them think about the other companies like pretty quickly.
Okay,
So, like, I
that's
throw
if they
them
don't
in
have
there,
a
like,
job, it's
this,
even
and it's
more
like,
painful. It's even worse.
Oh, I even had I had an automated QA guy. We actually hired for the position. I had a number of new eager ones. We just didn't even get to. I turned them down before they got interviewed, unfortunately. So I had to tell him. But I actually was interviewing for a director of QA. He had 4 automation positions. I told him, hey, that company over there is looking for your exact profile, buddy. And it was awesome. It was a nice little turn I could do.
I don't
hey,
feel
right
like
over there,
I'm lucky enough to be able to tell someone, yeah, I know exactly where you're going to fit. Okay.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
cool.
that's a real fluke.
Yeah, it was a fluke. It was a fluke. It's like, yeah, creating the miraculous. It's a tricky one.
Okay. Are you, another survey question, are you asking people if they've been vaccinated?
I'm on the fence on that one. I mean, back and forth. Some people say that there's Jehovah's Witnesses who don't take shots. So does that impinge on their religious freedom? I don't know.
How many of them are there?
I've never
7.
recruited one. I can't ask. I never asked politics and religion. But I mean, I probably would when it comes down to it. I've had people volunteer it. A lot of people say, like, I'm talking about
Really?
going back.
Okay.
We're going back in a hybrid.
It
manner.
just comes up in small conversation, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you can make a hiring decision based on vaccine status.
Well, what if you want them to come into the office? Okay. I wouldn't want, like I said last week, I wouldn't want anyone coming into the office to work with me who refused to get vaccinated.
Yeah,
It has
well,
happened over here in India very badly.
You have people come to your office, Animal?
yeah, but there's
I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking in theory.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
Hypothetically.
Uber drivers are driving free. Uber and Lyft are giving free rides to people getting vaccinated.
I've got
Those
nobody
people are
back
coming
here.
right in their office, and they haven't been vaccinated.
Wait a second. Mario wants to tell us about India, which we hear is a terrible situation right now. What's now?
That is what has happened in India, Michael. These people have come back to the office and
Let me
spread
teach
COVID
you
all
something.
over.
On the Recruiting Animal show, my name is Recruiting Animal. Okay? Do I have
The
to say
animal,
it?
I
He was
apologize.
talking to
I
me.
apologize.
He was talking to me.
I-
They go back
Yeah,
in.
so-
saying,
No,
That
what's
was
yeah,
the
he
problem, they came
didn't
back too
finish.
early.
What's
That's
the
what
story in
reason.
India? Do you
In India,
say?
what has happened is before this vaccine was presented out, when the vaccine was first rolled out, people were coming into office, okay, and they were spreading it out. So, I mean, if you don't hire someone, I mean, if you are gonna, there's nothing wrong in making a hiring decision if they're vaccinated or not, because you're putting the other employees at risk.
Yeah, you are. Okay, that's the answer. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
All right.
Well, look, if we're
Majority
going to
are.
play hypothetical situations all day, I can poke holes in that as well and say,
No, you can't.
you're gonna get sued by, let's say, hypothetically, the employees that get infected because you didn't screen an individual out because they hadn't been vaccinated. Or you're going to get sued hypothetically by the individual that you screened out because you said we're not hiring anybody that hasn't gotten their shots.
And what about the person who gets a shot and gets a blood because he wants the job and gets a blood clot because of it? We've got an issue with that here. Okay, moving on.
Well, we get
Okay.
really hypothetical.
Josh, are you a red pill recruiter or a blue pill recruiter? Do I have to explain what the pills stand for? I will. Red
Yes.
pill means you're willing to tell a hiring manager some unsettling truth about recruiting in her market. Red pill means you're willing to tell them they're living in a dream world, okay? Which one are you? You're meditating?
I've learned to be more red pill. I'm going to tell them what's going on, that their expectations are a little. I mean, we had a role for a QA director. They wanted 5 years of hands-on JavaScript experience. Programmers aren't QA people. It's just something that doesn't happen a lot. So I don't think that's not realistic. That's not really.
And you said that?
look
You
for that
said-
all day.
Tell me exactly
Look for that
how
all
you
day
said
long.
it.
I can look for that
How
all
did you
day
say
long,
it to
but
the
I'm not gonna
manager?
explain
I want to hear how you said it, okay?
it.
What'd you
explain
say?
it. QA directors, typically people that are in QA are not programmers, or people who fell into QA or like the process of QA, and they usually are not going to be having programming as a core background. And it's just not something. And I actually said, and well, I shouldn't say it, but I did say, like, the QA people are guys who can't necessarily program as well, which is a stigma, I know, but it's kind of true. If you had recruited engineers before, a lot of them just didn't have the aptitude for the core programming stuff, but they're great at testing.
And what if what if you deliver the message and the hiring manager pushes back? Will you
mean-
come back again? Say, listen, Neo, this is the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna, I would say let's recalibrate in 2 weeks. Let's see what we find out there.
Oh, you're going to
Show my
waste your
numbers.
time working for 2 weeks on something that you know is ridiculous in a dream world?
I'm paid by the
Where you're
hour.
coming
recruiting
from.
Animal.
Okay. Who wants to
mean,
take,
and I
who
can
wants
bring
to
the data.
comment? Who
I
wants to
look-
comment? Red
Bring the
pill?
data.
Mario, are you red pill? Just, or a pussy wussy, a blue pill? Which one are you?
No, I tell them, see, I mostly don't deal with hiring managers at the moment, Animal, because I deal with these subcontractors, right?
Yeah,
So I didn't have the chance to deal with the hiring managers,
Okay.
unfortunately.
it's a moot point for you. Michael G. Cox, you seem kind of nasty today. I'll bet you're going to say you're red pill.
Okay, I'll say I'm a red pill. I come with the truth.
And yeah, but
Take your
okay.
time.
You know what? The guy, what's that Lawrence Fishburne? He tells Neo, you're either in or you're out. Okay. So if they're not like Josh. So Josh just says, I'm getting paid by the hour. You want to waste your money on me? Fine. I don't think that's a good decision either, because they'll blame him when it doesn't work out. And he comes back and says, listen, I did what you told me. They don't want to accept responsibility. They'll still blame him. Okay. I don't think that's
That's
a good
true.
policy. But
Good
he
point.
says, oh, I'm getting paid. I'm wasting their time. I'm getting paid. But
I'm bringing
with you-
data. I'm bringing data after 2
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
like they
coming
want,
back at that meeting.
like
I'm
they
going, "Here's
want
what I saw in the
data.
market.
Like they
Here's the
want
people I
data.
talked to. here's what you have, and here's what's out there, and you want to
Okay.
interview the other guys.
I'll note something for the kids at home. Amy Miller says, when you're in a conversation like that, you put everything in an email, okay? If you're having a phone conversation or a Zoom, you send an email after and ask for a reply. Yeah, is this what we said? Yeah, okay? So when this jerk comes after you've wasted 2 weeks doing nothing, okay, or getting no results, you look, this is what he told me. Okay, it's his fault, not mine. Michael G. Cox, I wanted to criticize you for something and I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask a follow-up.
Pick anything.
Okay, no, well, when you say to these,
Dealing with clouds.
hey.
Oh, look at the
recruiterOut.com,
trolling going on.
Recruiter out. Okay, when you say,
That's great.
when you say, listen, hiring manager, I'm a red pill recruiter. I'm not taking any of your bullshit. This is not realistic, okay? And when she says, Mike, I want you to do it my way, do you say, so long? How do you handle the pushback?
Dude, first, this never happened.
Why? Why? Do they all just crumble when you tell them that, listen, this is the real world, honey?
No, okay. So when I was internal, we have a conversation and we come to an understanding. And if we don't come to an understanding, we talk to somebody's boss's boss's boss.
Yeah, but there's nobody.
straight down.
Is that what you say now? You're on your own. You're an
Yeah.
agency. You're the person, your client says, Mike, I want you to do it my way. And you have told that person already, your way is a dream world. Your way is no way. Okay. And so you say to her, hey, let me speak to your boss. I want to talk to your supervisor. Is that what you say?
No,
You gotta
and
bring data.
that hasn't happened yet. So we'll see if it comes up in the near future.
At recruiteral.com, do you know what's happening? Do you want to comment or I know
Yeah, I'm
what
going to
you're gonna
comment
say.
only knowing 10% of this, but
Are
talk
you
to the-
red pill or blue pill? The red
Fuck
pill.
you.
Okay, so
That
he
would be
doesn't know
red
what-
pill.
Wait a second, he doesn't know what we're talking about, but he wants to say something anyway. Go ahead.
What red pill is FU hiring manager?
Yeah, well, yeah, in your face, give him
Well,
reality.
no,
Only
you
in
gotta bring- you gotta
only in
come
the
with-
animals world.
You got to come with data. That's all. You got to come with data. You have to come with situations. If I'm dealing with and look, I don't do tech right now, but if I'm dealing with
Here's
an
my
architect-
data, by the way.
You know what? And that might no. You
I'm
know what? But if you-
literally working on a market mapping for a client, and I said, look, I'll get back to you with some data that actually shows you what the market looks like in the regions that you're trying to hire these people. And I'm going to go back to this individual and say, hey, man, I'm not going to be able to do this.
It's on your post-it note, so Mikey knows. Come on.
It
That's
doesn't
all
make
it
sense.
is. But if you bring 3 candidates that they love and they're saying, great, I love all these people, but they're too expensive. We don't want to pay that amount. It's like, okay, well, here's the data. Here's what the market's saying. What do you want to do? If you say, well, I don't want to pay 150, okay, here's what 120 gets you. How would you like to proceed with this? Well, I need a 150 person for 120. Doesn't exist. And if it does, I'd be worried.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go back to the guy and say, look, in your search for people in telco in southern Louisiana, we can't do it for this. You're not going to find an individual unless you loosen up on some of your requirements and start looking at individuals outside the industry, because inside the industry in that region, you've got 30 individuals to go after.
You know what I like? You're very I can't remember the word, but I had a word that I wanted to use for the delivery. He's very confident.
Godlike.
He's very confident.
Godlike.
Josh was more accommodating in his demeanor. Wouldn't you say so, Josh? That you were like, I'm not in
This
you.
breaks the credibility too, though. No matter how, if I've been there for a while, I've got hires under my belt, I'm for damn sure an expert. If it's my first month and I'm working with them, they're always skeptical. They don't believe you can bring the heat. So it does play to credibility in my mind. If I'm there and I've got hires under my belt, I'm the expert now, and they're listening to me and they're asking, is this realistic? And I had it happen yesterday. Is this realistic? And I said, no, it's not. It's, you maybe find one person with all that background, but it's a fluke. And we can't find that one magic person. You need to find 20 of them to pick from. If you can't.
Josh, are you in the Bay Area?
I am. Yeah, I'm in Oakland. Yeah. But
Hey,
we
really
work
quick.
recruiting out of LA.
On what?
The people I'm recruiting for audit board, they're in Los Angeles. So
Oh, yeah. So
I
I'm in
slug
LA.
it out in the Bay Area all the time.
Hey, really quick off the top while I got you here. What's the general salary differential between LA and San Francisco in general?
Whew, I mean, I think it's an interesting question. Things are flattening out now. If you're talking DevOps and stuff, it's starting to flatten for the high level skilled stuff. But I mean, it's probably about 25%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Like my one,
For tech,
yeah,
it's
like
not much.
185, the 180 down there is, 240 up here,
Yeah, I got a guy up there that we're going to be looking at, and I'm not in the tech right
Is
now,
this
but
show about your personal business, recruiterl.com?
as long as you're going to let me keep talking to Josh, yeah.
Yeah, you can always drop me a line,
Do that
man.
after the show. I want
I
to
got
say,
a,
I want
I
to
got a
welcome,
hangnail that I want to talk about too.
I
Yeah.
want to welcome
Michael G.
Rich
Conto, the
Rosen.
hemorrhoids. Come on.
See?
Rich Rosen.
The man.
Nice.
Is it cornerstonesearch.com? Is that your website?
That is it.
Okay.
No, it's actually now 2 years running the center of the sales recruiting universe.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well,
Yeah.
that's my point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He spoke on some kind of virtual mastermind meeting that people pay for Dualto Doherty. And I saw people making comments. They said, this talk makes the payment for the whole year worthwhile. Okay.
Damn, son.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good
And
stuff.
you're not
Fantastic.
paying, okay, to listen to the Recruiting Animal Show. It's just here. Okay.
I'm
Sure.
just gonna move on, like,
Before we get going, Mario R.
You should do a commercial for him
You
and
really
never
should,
charge.
Yeah.
What's with the R?
The
What's with the
password.
R? Do you have
That's
a last
my,
name? What?
Yeah, it's my last name.
Is it just
my
so
last name.
complicated?
No, it's very simple. It's just Ravi Chandran, okay? All right. It's not Russian.
What is it?
Red pill.
It's Ravi Chandran. So
That's not so
Ravi
bad.
Chandran. That's not a
Yeah,
different.
that's
It's
not
not
bad.
bad.
That's fine.
Mario
listen,
Ravichandran
I
Maharaj.
told you guys last time, right?
No.
I'm calling a guy with a TSSCI clearance. Hi, my name is Mario Ravichandran. Would you like to talk to me about a job opportunity? Just think about what goes on in his mind.
Mario R sounds a little too mysterious. How about Mario Rivers or something like that?
No,
That's not
I don't
bad.
use it. I use Mario Kart, which is one of my first
I was
names.
going to say, is your
One of his
first name really
aliases.
Mario?
Okay, there's
One of my
something
names
else.
is Mario. That's my real name.
Okay. I asked you about, well, anyway, this is for Josh's moment in the sun. I'll get back to you about.
There's
about
an
Good for you,
interesting
Mario.
fact that you just mentioned a little bit about skilled workers in any market, where they are, what they're charging. You get up in some areas, you get up for the right skill set. Someone's got Kubernetes, DevOps is supported, like 200
Well,
developers.
I could use two of those guys actually on the sales engineering side. So actually,
Engineering, they're making just as
West
much-
Coast or East Coast. So
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be
Anywhere
interesting.
on the
Next year
earth.
is gonna be telling. It's gonna either flatten out or they're gonna have to adjust what they're paying. based
Okay,
on-
let me. I let the show go off the rails. Okay, let me bring it back. I have because I had a follow-up question to the red pill and blue pill. Okay, are you disruptive in any way? You know how everybody likes to say they're disruptive.
Yeah.
But they're not. Okay, I'm not disruptive. Are you disruptive in addition?
I'm pretty whiny.
What?
I'm pretty whiny. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's one of those
I
things.
Bay Area,
meant
I'm not going to succeed. I'm going to let you know. You know what I mean? It's one of those. And if I'm disruptive, when I was put into a whole like big Me Too environment, and I wanted to get shit done, I was very disruptive because I was moving. I was trying to get shit done, and I was in a hurry. So yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about now, because now you're talking about blue pill. I was talking about disruptive process-wise. Is there something you do about recruiting that's disruptive, or is it just normal?
I mean, I shortened the interview processes as much as I can. I would say that. So yeah, I mean, disruptive is a term. I mean,
How did you shorten it? Okay, we got something finally. You shorten the process. How?
yeah, shorten the process. No, I hate homework stuff. This happens in engineering a lot. There's significant drop off when you send people at home tests. We had like an 8-hour test. We cut it to 4 hours recently, and that's a lot better for
Oh.
candidates. There's
I've seen a lot of that happening at like VP of sales level type
Yeah.
searches where they do, the homework is, okay, so now bring us a 30, 60, 90-day plan of how you would attack this position. And my thought is always, no, don't do that. Maybe
Don't do
present it to them, but don't give them a copy. Because you're
Yeah.
giving them your work. The last guy I just spoke to this morning, he said, yeah, I was in a search with such and such company. I gave him this stuff. And I immediately said, "So they didn't hire you, right? And you didn't get that work back, and they're going to use that, or at least have it as reference material."
Okay, so hold on a second. So here he's got a situation. What do you say? 8 hours of homework or something like that? So what did you do? Did you go to the hiring manager and say, you know why we're screwing up? We're not making placements. It's because you're putting these huge demands on the candidates. Is that how you managed it? Is that what you did, Josh?
No, I had a newer director and I brought her in on it and she helped me with that conversation.
Well, you want to
So
fill us in? Don't make us
Comes down to
guess.
credibility. I mean, she helped with, that's a very long test, what you're doing. And we're going to have a bad candidate experience. Nobody wants to get glass doored, especially nowadays. It's something where you really don't want you want to treat candidates well, and you don't want to make them do all this stuff. I mean, we don't do anything on spec. It's not like we're asking them to do the work that's related to the job itself, or we're going to use their work. But, with that, she came in and said, this is a longer test, come up with new answers. Let's do that. And it's worked so far. So,
okay, let me ask a follow-up before we go to the panel. Okay. It's when you said, do you threaten people now with saying, you don't want to get glass doored, buddy. Okay. They're going to rip you apart. Okay. Do you actually tell them that? Is that part of your blue pill strategy?
Yes.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's bad candidate experience. This plays to bad candidate experience, and something they don't always get it. But you say glass door, they perk up because they don't want to. They know that people aren't going to apply. And they think that's the thing. A lot of hiring managers think that people apply to jobs still, and in engineering, they just don't. It's very rare you see a good amount of candidates coming in.
Okay.
But then again, might as well play into it.
Does anybody else threaten hiring managers with glass door? Anybody? Say, hey, no.
Do I threaten them with
Yeah,
glass
we're
door?
talking about saying, look, shove it in their face, okay? You're gonna get it. Rich,
Glassdoor is legalized extortion.
do you ever threaten Glassdoor?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What? Oh, he's on mute.
He's on the
He's
phone.
talking to somebody
close.
else, man. He's making those dollars.
Oh, he's on the phone. He's making money. He's just letting us watch how it happens. Okay. But notice he's on this. He says he works on a speakerphone and he's bending over to be close to it. He told us before that he doesn't have to do that. Okay. That's why I wouldn't want to talk on a speakerphone.
No,
I wouldn't want to have to bend over the whole time.
No, he's got his head down, animal, because Michael G. Cox can read lips and he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to give the secrets away.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give away the client.
Okay, hold on a second. I want to come back to these cheaters like that Michael G. Cox was talking about. They give you actual work, right?
Yeah.
Do a study for us, and
It's
then
nuts.
they take it. How do you present it to them without giving it to them, Michael G. Cox? Or how do you refuse and say, look, I'm not working for free. If you want to pay me, I'll do it.
Look, if it's going to be what it used to be was face to face, and you take in a copy and you make a presentation, but you only have that one copy and you hold it in your hands and you do this thing, and you'll see here and you kind of flip the pages.
Yeah.
If you're doing it via Zoom, you can do a presentation and burn through it fairly quickly and talk more than you do just a few slides, and you're not including all the information on those slides.
And you don't email anything to them. And if they ask for it, you just say, no, I don't want you taking my hard work for free. Is that what you say?
I have a question for that one. So
Go
answer
ahead.
the question. So doesn't it seem, I mean, I get the, give me a 1, 3, 3, 6, 9, 12 month thing, but I mean, in the end, don't you need to know how the company's structured and how they operate? I mean, you kind of have to know how they're cooking, how they're making the sausage right now to know how to make corrections. So isn't a 3, 6, 9, isn't that kind of BS to begin with?
Yeah, to a certain extent, but this isn't happening like on call number one. This is like deep into conversations for a fairly high level position. So you've already gotten kind of at least a framework or wired framework of the lay of the land.
Well, you've got the framework that the interviewers have told you about.
Yes.
But you haven't got, I mean, I'll give you a great
Josh
example.
wants to say something.
Go ahead, Josh.
I mean, it's interesting. I've been asked. There's two parts of this, but like, well, we had a high level sales person, and we did ask him to provide lists. He gave us a list of 20 people of his contacts from his Rolodex. He just gave his first name and a last initial, and then the company name, which is a nice approach for it. That's what we asked for, so you can dumb it down a little bit. And we offered that, and then I've also been asked though to do a sourcing strategy.
Yeah.
The startup, and they asked me to do this whole sourcing strategy thing, and they were like, well, how would you do the Boolean search for that? Can you write that in there too while you're at, like, we'll take that and can you send us this an email? I'm like, what are you talking about, guys? I mean, come on, it's $100 an hour for me to work for you. Let's get back to it. Come on.
That's what I mean. I mean, I was at a company where when I got the job and when I interviewed, I didn't think I needed to ask, do you fly candidates in? Do you provide relocation? This was a globally ranked company. And only until I got in there did I discover they don't fly people in for interviews. The competition did. They didn't provide relocation. The competition did. And I kept walking into a senior guy's office going, WTF did you hire me? And to do this with the team, because
I don't get it. How did you all, it's an interesting personal story, but what does that have to do with doing the homework?
what it has to do is they wanted a plan and I gave them one, but I said the caveat on this is I'm not going to know where the bathroom is and the coffee maker for the first 6 months. I got to figure out how this company really works, not just what the interviewers tell me.
Right.
But I took the job based on the-
My question here is, and Mario, feel free to, you know the rules, you just butt in, okay? You know what bugged me last time? You were saying, who wants to hear from a brown man? That's the farthest thing in the world from our minds here, okay? Just let me tell you, if you're thinking like that, that's paranoid, okay? You're welcome
I'm
to
talking
butt
about
in.
a guy with a clearance, man.
What?
A guy with a clearance, a security clearance.
Okay,
You-
you've got.
you hold the
It's
clearance.
DOD, not you guys. I mean, I'm least worried.
Okay, well, just butt in.
Brown
But
guys
my
America.
question
Let's
was,
get past.
when you tell these people, these morons, okay, because they're asking you in the first place, or cheaters, and you say, look, you're not going to do this to me. Doesn't that rule you out immediately? Do they respect you, or do they say, hey, I can't stand this. I want someone who's going to roll over whenever I tell them to on this job.
Yeah, you have to be guarded, and you have to tell them some hints. I mean, you could walk through it in different ways, but yeah, you're not going to give away the sauce. You know,
No, but you tell them that, listen, I can't give you all my work in advance
I can't
for
give you- yeah.
nothing, okay? I'm not working for free here. Can you actually say that without ruling yourself out as a candidate?
yeah, I
Without
mean, I say
having
I
a
use my
bad
sources.
attitude?
Yeah, I have my sources. I do LinkedIn, I do Boolean, I tear apart GitHub, and those are the three places I look for that person, and that's about it. You know,
But you say, no, they say, we want you to actually do a model search for us. Okay, this is the candidate we're looking for. How would you handle it? I want the details. And you say, no, sorry, I'm not going to do that. Right? You know, like
Politely.
Meatloaf, I won't do that.
yeah, politely. I mean, you've seen I've done it before. My resume speaks for itself. I mean, you see my
Okay,
resume
so
there. You know I do
is
this.
now my question is, will they rule you out if you are a naysayer? If you say, no, I'm not going to do what you want me to in this hiring process?
Yeah, if they're most likely,
Yes.
yeah, because they're looking. That's what they're really looking for anyway. They're just cheating.
Oh, Michael G. Cox, you're saying, yeah, you advise the person to refuse to do it, but you're saying it's going to screw up
It's going to put them at
hire.
risk. Absolutely.
Okay.
So
agree,
hey,
Michael.
don't do it. Maybe try and do it a little bit smarter where you're not sharing this information and leaving it behind, because that's your work that
Oh,
you.
so you're saying it's a balancing act. Mario wants to say something now. The
Yeah,
clearance.
it's about being a little flexible, Michael. Animal. I forget that.
Yeah, but you might not want to
Be
reach those people
flexible.
anyway.
I don't understand flexible. Anybody who's listened to the show for a while, I'm pretty black and white, okay? I don't like trying to figure out, how can I say this in a special way where it won't seem like I'm disagreeing with them, okay? I'm giving them a little bit of what they want, but not everything. No, this is a powerful no, okay? That's what everybody's telling me, but when I say, how do you deliver that no? All the guys who told me they're a blue pill person, they don't want to deliver it in a blue pill way. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, you can always glass door them. Boom.
Yeah.
you didn't
Well,
like
hey.
the interview process and placed in there to put it.
Man, if you
You're gonna know
push
it.
me on this, if you rule me out because I refuse to do free work for you, trust me, I'll be on Glassdoor,
I'm on
okay?
Glassdoor that.
And
Yeah.
if we do things my way, then I'll spare you. Okay, I wonder if somebody would have the guts to say something like that. Okay, anybody else got a question for Josh before I move on? And if you need his advice on your own personal search, like Alan did, you can save that for later.
Well, it was helpful. I just kind of figured it out, and I looked at a comp study that I had that was
Yeah,
a little older. and it
I
worked,
wasn't
so
giving
thanks.
you an opportunity to talk about it.
I
anymore.
appreciate that, Animal, but I think you need to do a commercial.
That's what-
I feel bad. I feel bad. I want you to get paid.
You know, it's 12:30 already. Nobody's paying us for anything, but I will do a commercial for our good friends at Honeit, HONEIT.com. Honeit is online interview technology. You both call into the website, you and the candidate. It records every word you say. It does video recording if you want. It turns everything into a searchable transcript. Not only that, when you get to an important question, you press a button. When you finish discussing that question, you press another button, creates a little clip. So you send that special part of the conversation to the hiring manager or anybody on the recruiting team, and it's perfectly encrypted and et cetera, et cetera. Honeit, Honeit. Nick Livingston is the boss there. Very nice guy, easily accessible too. Anybody want to talk? Anybody got a question? Josh, is there something burning that you want the recruiting world to know?
You should hire recruiters full time, because these RPOs, a lot of them aren't worth their salt, especially for technical.
Yeah, that's
Agreed.
Couple good
something.
ones, but most of them are
that.
just hiring junior recruiters and throwing them into the fray. And it's just a body's administrative.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really do need to keep that. Right now, it's a hard search. There's 85 jobs got pushed to me yesterday for recruiters. It's a tough search, but people should go through it instead of giving up and going to RPO, you know?
Isn't the
You
RPO
got
model,
to use
Josh?
somebody, a couple of good ones. Dot Connect, friend of mine. I'll give her a plug. She's awesome. Dom Farnett. She knows what she's doing. Hardcore.
What was her name? I didn't get that.
Dom Farnett over at Dot Connect is awesome.
Okay.
I like. There's a couple really good RPOs, but they're led by people who are still in the trenches and still working. You know. So
Did I make a mistake? I talked up Rich Rosen so much that he realized, what am I doing giving this information away for free? And he disappeared.
He's busy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right on
Well,
time,
Okay.
9:30.
Okay. So you don't like RPOs?
Not
Anything
much.
else? Anything else you want to tell us?
But he has a good point about that. I mean, my question about RPOs is why would, and I've seen RPO presentations as an internal. My question is, if they're pushing me Michael G. Cox and Josh Thomas, my question is, why aren't they permanent somewhere else internally on their own, or why aren't they somewhere else doing something else? And it drives me crazy when I used to get into companies with RPOs, because they didn't know what they were doing, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. But you're seeing this stuff. I mean, you look at JobVite.
I'm finished talking about RPOs. I have no interest in it. Okay.
I mean, why are the RPOs buying up ATSs, and how the hell is that working? JobVite, Jazz HR, and Next Thing. You know, it's interesting. I was talking about it last night with a friend. Jeremy's actually even on here, I think. But they're merging into these big weird conglomerates, like hoping that Robin Hood will buy them or something, you know, for a significant. It's odd to me. It's a strange mix of these. The ATS is pushing their ATS and the RPO is working with them to push it. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm finished. Okay.
Hey,
I'm finished
okay.
with that.
Hey,
All right.
Josh, why do you think so many organizations are going with RPO these days?
I mean, supposedly it's because they flex. They could get more recruiters on a push button, but you know, you're just going to get more scramble people that are just pushing to getting a job and filling in between their gigs. But
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, good presentations. It's a simple way you can hire.
You're boring me. Okay. I try to be liberal, but no, enough of that. What
You
if
want me to talk about Canada or something?
What
we just
if-
signed up University of Calgary at my company. You're
What if you've got a candidate and you say, you know, even whether it's an applicant or it's a passive candidate you've recruited, and you say, what makes you interested in taking a look at another position, or why do you want to leave your current position? And the person says, the boss doesn't allow political or social issue discussions on their internal communication board. And if you think I'm making this up, this was a huge thing last week, and it made it to the New York Times because of this company called Basecamp.
Yep.
They put that rule in, and about half the staff left, okay,
Yep,
because
they
of this
deuced out.
rule. Josh, is it the
Even-
norm
even
that people could, go ahead.
Yeah, you mean, and actually it's interesting because Google has been slowly purging the ranks of people that do political discussions, just a number of them. And so it's pretty interesting because that was something where they didn't come out with a policy, but people noticed, but they did eventually get let go for other reasons. So it's something, it's gnarly. I don't know exactly how my company would respond. I'm glad you asked it, because I think we need to know. But I mean, as far as I know, we don't have those type of, I wouldn't shut them out, you know, by any means, you know, and I can't really ask them what those political beliefs are as part of my interview process to shut them out anyway. You know what I mean?
What drives me crazy is the premise of the question to begin with. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're presenting a candidate that you had in your network that you enticed about the opportunity, I introduced him to you, and now you're wasting time asking what's got you looking. Nobody was looking. I was approached. I'm interested now.
Uh-huh.
Tell me about the opportunity. But there's like this desire to uncover why somebody would be out there looking for a job these days. Bro,
Yeah.
just move on. Focus on the skill, on the experience.
You mean that's not a valid question? Let's go round table. Mario, do you interview people? I don't know what if you're a
Yeah.
sourcer. Would you ask them
interview.
do you ask them why they would want to leave, or do you say,
Definitely, yes.
Okay,
I asked them
maybe
what's
if
the
somebody
reason
is
they're looking for a
is
job.
somebody applying, fine. Maybe ask them,
Well,
why
no, no.
are you
You've
interested in
gotta know.
applying?
What is the
Like-
defining factor that will make you change a position?
Yeah, you got to understand what's the
happens.
motivating factor. Like, why
Yeah,
are they gonna
exactly.
move?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're approaching somebody, you don't, or at least I have not had the gall to say,
That's
hey,
like my
thanks
first
for
question.
answering and listening to me spew on about this opportunity. Why are you still interested?
No, but your first question is, hey, so what's going on at XYZ company? And listen, what would make you move? Why make a change? And if they've got no real reason, then you're wasting your time. If it's just for money, you're wasting your time.
I'm cool with documenting the factors that are pushing an individual out of their organization or maybe pulling them out of the organization. But normally I'm talking to an individual that isn't interested in making a move to begin with, and I've got to entice them to make that move.
Yeah, but you start off by, hey, what's going on in your situation? No, nothing. It's great here. Oh, it's dynamite. Well, listen, and then you say, well, listen, would you ever be interested in making a change? Why make it? And then it's like, maybe for the right thing, because everyone's really looking. It's their gut reaction to say no. So you just kind of blow by that and say, all right, well, listen, if you're not looking, listen, who do you know that would be right for this role? And then you just kind of go into the pitch anyway. And then, oh my God, they're interested. And then they're like, I start asking your questions. And then you go back to it. Hey, listen, seriously, what's going on over at, Salesforce? I mean, I know it's a shit show. I hear rumors all the time. I got 20 guys looking. Whatever. And then they start telling you, or they say, what did you hear? Well, everyone, bad management, you're losing your accounts, whatever. So, and next thing you know, you're having a conversation. The guy's interested. He's 30 minutes deep into it. And he's like, yeah, you know what? This sounds pretty cool.
Rich, I got a
Go
question
ahead,
on that
Josh's
one.
point too.
Josh,
It's one of those agency things. It's one of those agencies. If I don't know the company, like Salesforce is different, but if I don't know that company, I want to know if they're starting to lay off. I want to know because I have other positions and I'm going to start. And that's old school agency. Let's find if that company is going down. I want to be the first guy who's calling through that list of employees, and I want to dig into them hardcore.
Absolutely.
Make more.
I did that this week. I got 3 guys interviewing this week.
Maybe it's just that I don't like presenting a candidate and then the internal saying, why do they want to move? And I kind of outlined that for you. And now you're hitting the candidate once again to get the goods on why this person wants to make a move.
So you run into that a lot, Michael?
Yes. It's like,
You're gonna find better clients.
why do they want why do they want to make a move? They really didn't until I approached them and I talked to them about your opportunity.
Exactly. Listen,
Yeah.
and you have to coach your clients. Say, listen, you've got to sell these guys as much as they're selling you. But in this market, especially if you were talking earlier, that candidate journey is not a good one. If that internal recruiter is just another dope who doesn't get it and wants to just re-grill on what you grilled them on, you've got to tell your client, listen, we're a part.
It ain't working.
Then you find new clients. You're wasting your time.
Well, hold on. Rich said something that I don't agree with. Okay,
Come on.
he said everybody's always looking.
He's right.
Okay, when they say I'm happy where I am, that doesn't mean anything. That's what he said essentially.
No,
right?
that's not what it means. It means they're doing okay in their mind and their perception right now, and maybe they haven't looked around. And if you're making 150, 200 a year, you got an hour commute, you got decent benefits, and you're doing okay. Everything's good. But if Rich or Michael calls me and we start talking, I'm doing okay, really well, and we talk for a little bit. Okay, hold on a second. Maybe I'm worth 250. Hold on a second. Maybe this, maybe that.
Rich sounded like an interrogator from the CIA who could break anybody in 2 minutes. Okay.
No, but I do have a question about his first ask was interesting because it was and I'd be honest, Rich, great respect. It kind of disappoints me that you asked that question that way, because you asked a yes or a no question.
Because it doesn't really matter the answer.
No, but what I'm saying is, I understand where you're coming from, but in my opinion, instead of saying, would you entertain? It's like, yeah, I get it. Look, I know you're doing okay, but hey, look, what would it take for you to ever entertain? Because I mean, that kind of forces the mind to stop and say, it's not a yes or no, and I can default to no. It's, oh.
It does. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot of ways that comes out of my mouth that really over the course of a day. But at the end of the day, the result works out the same. Because if they say yes, well, fantastic. If they say no, okay, that's fantastic too. Because I'm calling them out of the blue. And it's usually, I even say that at the beginning of the call. Hey, I'm calling you out of the blue. I realize I'm following up to my email I sent you. But hey, I do have this great opportunity. Thought it'd be a great fit or whatever. Literally just spews out of my mouth. But at the end of the day, the question comes out about the same. Yes or no makes no difference in the end of the day, because especially sales guys, we're all, we're selling all day, and they all are trained to say no.
Well, they're trained to say no, but also sales guys. When I was doing 100% commission commercial real estate brokers, the one thing I did notice is the good sales guys, they call back. They'll have the conversation, because in their mind, I never know where my next deal, my next opportunity is going to be, and I'm willing to at least give it a little time.
You guys are qualifying it to salespeople. But what about the question I put to Josh 10 minutes ago? Okay, what if you say, why do you want to leave? No, I don't mind that. This was interesting, but what if you say, why do you want to leave? And the person says, they're not letting me have political discussions on the internal social media.
That's just stupid. Nobody's gonna say that.
God, you're just trying to promote your post now.
Yeah. That is why you avoid working on West Coast.
You are so wrong, recruiterl.com. That was all.
That's why you don't recruit in California.
Media last week.
Baby.
I'm gonna keep going.
Texas East.
I told you, all those people from base camp, and they were all passionate about it. One woman said, a woman recruiter, I think I mentioned it before, she said, I'm gay. She said, I have to talk about political things. Just telling you about my wife is political, okay? And she was passionate, and she said, I'm supporting everybody who leaves that company. I'll find you a new job. Okay. And it was all about the political discussions on the internal communication.
Yeah, but we don't know what kind of political discussions or the temperature level that they were had at. We have no clue.
Yes, we do. I can tell you what started it, and this is a funny thing, okay? Because of Jehoshaphat Terwilliger is here, actually, because the customer service team at that company for 10 years had been compiling a list of funny last names, okay? And his name would have been on it, Jehoshaphat Terwilliger. And that became a big diversity issue, okay? And then everything exploded from there. That's how it happened. Okay.
Yeah, well, sometimes the leader is an asshole.
Yeah. Racism is racism. You got to watch. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
There's grown-up humor, and then there's stupidity.
It's in your employee handbook. You want me to go look at my employee handbook? I can take that out for you. I'll take your question.
Jehoshaphat Terwilliger is a funny name. Patrick Schnitzelfrauer is a funny name. Okay, sorry.
Why don't we talk about WeWork then? WeWork, the wife did a lot of the interviewing, and she was looking for superstars and gurus and thought leaders that love kombucha. Ethan, seriously?
Looking for hippies. Yeah.
What?
Looking for hippies.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that was an entire shit show.
Yeah.
That whole WeWork thing was
all the way through.
I wish I had been there just to experience it.
Oh my God, yeah.
It would have been so great. Imagine the coffee table books that have been produced because of WeWork.
But if you really think about it, they were he took a lot of time to be that stupid and cash out when you could have just put together a quick startup HR tech, got some VC funding, bought your Hawaii house, and then say it didn't work and walk away in 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a nice shell game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? There was that interesting article that I did post, recruiterl.com, about diversity recruiting, autistic people. This guy was working in an ice cream parlor. He had 3 mathematics degrees, but the problem is he's autistic and he could never make it past a phone screen. Finally, he became a data scientist at Microsoft. The idea he's working at Baskin and Robbins when he could be, have this really tech job. And the problem is he didn't interview well. I'll start with Josh. Do you think it's possible that, somebody won't look you in the eye if you're actually with them? They won't, really give you a good handshake, and you'll rule them out because of their soft skills? Soft skills, we're always hearing soft skills are important. Not to these guys, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, I have a specific example, of course, of that happening. But again, Microsoft's interesting because 70% of their R&D is actually helping people with disabilities, solving their problems, and then you turning that into a product. You know what I mean? So, Lou Gehrig guy, for example, losing everything, that's where they got their eye tracking technology from. So for them, having somebody on board, they might get a little bit more than just a programmer out of it. They're getting some research around something that can help people with disabilities that can be applied to the market in general. So they're kind of a unique, interesting piece. But I had a woman come in a wheelchair for a sales position. We measured all of our areas. It was interesting. She was referred into us. And she definitely had that looking away thing. And I don't know where it came from, but it was, I think that was something that came through, and, it was very hard to deal with. They eventually didn't hire her for the role because it was a sales role. So, I mean, it's one of those ones, whether it's.
I think that's somewhere that sensitivity training might work fairly easily. They'll say, because it's so obvious, someone that won't look into the eye, it doesn't mean they're lying or
training, it's coaching. Yeah, they said they weren't really willing to.
But hold on a second. You're filling engineering roles. What about someone like Rich, who's with salespeople? Could you hire an autistic salesperson, Rich, or is that just out of the question?
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be a challenge, and depends on the company and the role, what you're selling, what kind of software you're selling. If it's selling into the autistic community, it could be a great thing. If it's selling into disabled community, but
okay, but that's very specific. Okay,
very specific. But if you're selling into
every job is very specific.
Yeah.
Because because if you're selling into Wall Street, unfortunately, I'm not sure a guy that says severe autism is going to work. If it's a lower on the spectrum, maybe. But do you want, if you're a startup, like my guys are startups, do you want to put your eggs in that basket?
Actually, your CEO might be autistic. I hear they're mental at those companies. Okay,
Elon Musk, he just said he had Asperger's. He's on the spectrum.
Oh, you know what? Hey, I could get in trouble. I didn't mean to relate autism and hypomania or any of those other common mental disturbances that CEOs of startups, founders have. Mario, you've been quiet, and I know from the way your demeanor is generally, you're not a quiet kind of guy. So let me give you a chance. Is there something you want to contribute that you have been too polite to say?
No, it's not. It's very industry specific.
Okay.
It's words of wisdom. Every job is
words of wisdom
is
from the guru over in India. Hey, maybe I can get in trouble for saying guru India.
No, but don't worry about it anymore. You're gonna get in trouble no matter what. Someone's gonna get pissed off about it no matter what.
Yeah.
100% true, Rich. I have seen this guy get blasted on his Facebook group. Okay, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And I have defended you so many times. You know that.
Exactly. You're a good man. You're a good loyal soldier.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I've seen a lot.
Checks in the mail.
I've seen a lot of recruiters complaining that currently something is going on. They've lost control of their candidates. They don't go to the interviews. They don't, it's hard to get them to schedule something. He sees this ghosting and things happening more than ever. Anybody want to comment on that, or is it boring? Josh,
it's huge. It's huge. In engineering in particular, it's out of the.
Yeah. It's the prima donna attitude of all these candidates. And
you gotta sell it. You gotta sell it. Yeah, you really gotta sell it hard. And I do ask.
And you gotta take it away.
Them, especially when I was an agency, I would really bug me. But like I do remind them, I want to put you forward for this position, but I want to know that you're going to go all the way through the interview process. Will you see this through to offer? I can get you there quickly. I explain the process. I let them know exactly how long it'll take me. And I excel. I'm like, I could get that. I had a guy Monday. He's got an offer already from a company. And I got to get him through a fucking 3-part stage process by Friday. Have an offer for him by Friday. And I land out the exact dates, exactly how it could happen.
Hold on. So let me get this straight. You're asking, anybody's, can give him a question. I'm not the only one who has to ask follow-ups here, but you're actually saying to a candidate, look, before we start, I want to know that you're going to go right through the interview process.
Yeah, and hold off your other offers until I get
I've
you. to
never
confront.
heard of that before.
No, wait a minute, I wouldn't hold off. I wouldn't hold off other offers if I were the candidate. I'd tell you I'll do everything I can, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, Josh, and say if I get an offer,
Then
I
you're
got
not like
two-
most candidates.
you know, I'm going to keep
Do
you
sit there and
informed.
lie to you.
Yeah, exactly. They absolutely do. They all lie to you. Like,
No, it never happened.
You know,
Hold
that's
on.
true.
I
Wait
will
a
tell
s-
you, in my sector right
Oh, hell
now,
no, it happens.
I don't have a lot of lying,
Oh,
and I don't have.
Okay,
I
no,
have
no, I
almost-
want to know, let's go around, starting with Michael G. Cox. Would you say to somebody, look, before I send you in here, I want to know you'll go right down to the offer stage. Whether you accept it or not is another story, but I don't want you dropping out before we get there. Would you? No. you
I
won't.
will say it to try and exercise what little social pressure I have over the individual in the situation. I'm not gonna count on
They
it
won't
having
like that.
prop-
They'll call you a scumbag recruiter. Recruiter Al.
Nobody's
would
gonna
you-
call me a scumbag
It's not to your
recruiter.
face on Twitter, they will. Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and
Facebook
Recruiter
too.
Al, would you actually say to somebody like Josh claims he does, hey, I'm eager to put you through to this as fast as possible, but I have to know that you'll follow it all the way through.
I don't have to in my sector. They do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rich, would you say that to somebody?
I wouldn't tell them they got to follow it all the way through. I'm like, I do it one step at a time because I just
Yeah.
literally did this exact situation last week, and it worked until the candidate asked for too much money. But and because if they're interested, once they have that first call and they're hooked, if your client can sell it, then the guy's hooked. And then if he's going to delay his other offer, well, then you got a candidate. Then
Right.
you got a deal. But if you say at the beginning, hey, you got to go through this whole process for me, most of these guys are going to lie to your face, or they're just going to tell you, great, 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 absolutely, because either have nothing or they're full of it.
Mr. Ravi Gendrum. I think that's your last name.
Oh God, just use Mario for God's sake.
Mario
I-
Karts.
I-
Would you tell the guy or the
Depends on
girl?
candidate. Depends on the level of the candidate. If it's a senior guy, I won't open my mouth. A more junior guy, I will tell them.
Why? Why? You're afraid of the
Because
senior
junior
guys?
people don't know how to interview.
Not only, no, you don't understand. I deal with guys with clearances. Okay, these are hot-headed morons at times. Oh, God, I told it on camera.
There's your next
so-
post, animal.
Dude, please. Okay, so yes, okay.
So this question's interesting, but that's not what I was asking. I was asking about this people who just drop out and won't contact you. I mean, they disappear, right? Or
It
they
has happened multiple times.
they
I
don't
asked
go
you
to
for 2
interviews.
months
They
back for
schedule.
30
They
days.
I have
schedule.
a guy this morning. He's like, he's a great candidate for one of these DevOps Kubernetes roles, actually. And he's like, I can't interview for another 2 weeks. Like he's at the final stage. And I'm like, well, dude, if you can't find a half an hour between now and a week and a half from now, listen, I'm just going to move to candidate number 2. You call me when you're ready, but the role's probably not going to be there. And then you hang up, let him call you back. I mean, all these guys are such prima donnas. You got to give them a push, or they just keep taking advantage. And you know what? Either way, you're going to lose. And if he's still around in a week and a half, the role's still there, great. But
Okay.
you got to.
I was going to ask more questions, but it's 1 o'clock already. So Josh, I have to thank you for coming. He volunteered himself. I didn't have to beg. Okay. And I appreciate that. I like him to come back again. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
I got to hop in my one. So I'll see you guys.
See you, Rich. Congrats.
Bye, Rich.
All right.
Anything else? Anything you want to plug?
I talked to a lady at fairygodboss.com yesterday, and I was totally interested. It's its own community of diverse candidates, females primarily. They have community and content built up, and then they do the marketing and
So you're
employment
plugging
branding
somebody
stuff.
else. I was trying to give you an opportunity to plug something about yourself. Is there anything you need to plug about you?
Probably the best hardcore technical recruiter in California, and probably one of the oldest as well. And I can keep kicking ass when I'm done with this contract for the next team.
Okay, that was a very good elevator speech. Wow,
Yeah.
you should have given it at the beginning. Michael G. Cox, thesalesrecruiter.com. You have no parting words. Okay, yeah. Mario R. Do you have to want to
Nothing.
plug
I'm
something?
cool.
Okay,
Nothing,
nothing.
I'm
Okay, recruiteral.com. Anything you want to say?
Have a
Anything you
good
want
day,
to say?
animal.
Everybody, come on, wave now. Wave to the people out there. Thank you, everybody.
Talk to y'all.
Good.